Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for one of the worst decisions I have ever decided to do. It's time to rank the bosses from Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2. Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2 are very much games that do exist, especially Sonic 1 I Can't Stand You. Sonic 4 Episode 2 is a little better, but considering them anywhere near close to the classics or even the advanced games, the Rush games, that one Neo Geo game. No. These games are absolute trash. But you know, boss fights are something completely different. Boss fights are a big fun part of any video game, especially Sonic games. They can be some of the best or weakest part of any Sonic game. Today, we're going to be ranking them from S to D. I'm not going lower. Anyway, let's start with Sonic 4. Episode Uno. First up is our Splash Hill Zone boss, showdown with Dr. Eggman. Why do they all have these weird titles? Anyway, hey, does that boss look familiar? Yeah, it's the one that you're all thinking about, except it's slower. Like, for no reason. Also, like, never use the homing attack against these bosses. They always recoil you so far, and they give them even extra invincibility even when they're not blinking. Regardless, because it's a slower version of the Sonic 1 boss, it gets D. It is really bad, it is really slow, and it's really boring. Oh, wait, he has a weird spin move. Let's move on. Casino Street, Dr. Eggman's party. Who's partying? You? Me? Nah, this is the weakest party ever. Oh look, another reused boss fight. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep that joke going. I'm sorry. Anyway, Casino Night Zone from Sonic 2. I think that's the right name. Anyway, just like in Sonic 2, this boss's entire difficulty is shot in the foot because, well, the walls. Like, you can literally spin dash up the walls and just avoid him entirely. And even if you do decide to interact with him at the bottom, like, Sonic jumps super high in this game. Like, you're never in any actual danger. But also, unironically, I think this might be one of the best bosses in this game. Like, I know I'm going stir crazy, and don't get it twisted. Just because it's a good boss in these games, don't mean it's a good boss, period. But it is better than the first Zone's boss, so it gets a C rank for me. Next, Lost Labyrinth Zone. Trap-filled ruins. I had to look it up mid-recording. I don't. Who remembers these little subtitles? D. It was like, hey, what if we gave Labyrinth Zone a boss fight? And no one cheered. Why would you do this? I'm gonna be completely honest. I rage quit on this boss fight. I didn't finish it. I did get it back in blood in the boss rush though, so you know I'm kind of goated with the sauce. But you know, like hey, you know when I said D rank was the lowest? No. I'm making a new tier list called the trash, and this boss goes right in the trash. Essentially, you just have to avoid Eggman and not get crushed by the pillars. And due to Sonic 4 Episode 1's terrible movement, if you're not already in the process of moving fast, you basically have no room to actually grow. Not to mention, it's kind of random how the pillars will move in what order before you're eventually crushed or not. So you kind of already have to be out of the way by the time they're already moving. Otherwise, well, you know, you're dead. This boss fight is trash. Moving on. Mad Gear Zone. Defeat the real Eggman. Who have I been fighting this whole game? This boss fight was done better in Sonic Mania. Oh look, it's a bunch of balloons that you have to avoid or just tank the hit because it's really not that hard. And then you have to just chase him down. I mean, it's fine. It's not really all that interesting. He throws a bunch of different Eggman toys. Like, they're balloons. Sonic, why are you getting hurt by these? You have quills that break robots. You know what? It doesn't matter. This boss fight is, I mean, it's okay. I'd probably give it a C tier as well. At least it's more engaging than the others. To a degree. And there's actually a real risk of you dying. You know, not like that matters. Look at my life counter. Anyway, Egg Station Zone. Final showdown in space. Well, honestly, the beginning part of this is trash. It's the boss fight. Boss rush, you know, it's every boss you fought, except you get more or less rings. Yay! I beat the Labyrinth Zone boss here. Fuck you. Like, since it's a boss rush of all the other bosses in rapid succession, you know, that portion of the boss gets a D. I didn't want to redo all these bosses. Now, the final fight against the Death Egg robot, that's different. You know, this fight was like, hey, what if we took the Sonic 4 boss fight, gave you some rings, made it longer to beat, and then it made the final process slightly more tedious. Also, did you know if you didn't hit Eggman on the final hit, the stage collapses and you die? I mean, it never happened to me, but you know, I just want to let people know that. And instead of just strategically jumping around his hands, you know, like during the second phase, he just envelops himself in electricity. So, oh no, I can't hit him anymore. And then he shoots his arms at you, which you can homing attack when they hit the floor. Do not try to hit them on the way down. I learned that the hard way. I don't know, man. It's just like the boss goes on for so long. By the time it's actually finished, you don't even feel satisfied. You're just like, ooh, glad I got that out the way. But honestly, it's still the best boss in the game. And it makes sense why it's the final boss. I give it the top of C tier for now. That's all for episode 1. On episode 2, Castlevania, Dueling Eggman's New Creation. Honestly, I kind of enjoyed episode 2 a bit. Put your gun down, please hear me out. I mean, it was just more fun. The stage dynamics were a bit better. I mean, it's still automated at all hell, so you can't really enjoy the new movement. Tails' abilities with Sonic are pretty fun, you know, 69 and flying around the way you do. But we're here for the bosses, and these bosses are the best bosses, the funniest bosses in all of Sonic the Hedgehog for episode 1 and 2. I like the bosses. You all like the bosses. I'm sorry for that. Anyway. The Chaos Emeralds. Anyway, Eggman shows up. Then he runs away. Then you chase him some more. Okay. Off to a weird start. I got you now, Sonic, and now I will crush you by being a giant Venus flytrap. Do you like my Eggman impression? Because it's way better than this boss fight. My issue with episode 2 as a whole is that there's a lot of stop and go, but more on the stop perspective. Why in the world is this boss so easy and take so long to beat? All you do is wait for him to open up his plant petals, whatever, and then you hit him, and then that's it. But it was still more engaging than anything in episode 1 except for the final boss, so it gets a B tier for me. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. White Park Zone, Metal Sonic Strikes. Yo, look, it's the stage from the demo version of this game. It's where the game peaks, honestly. The Metal Sonic boss fight, it's really fun. I kind of like Sonic bosses that are more of a test of reflex than anything. Metal Sonic in this stage will essentially destroy the terrain, charge himself with energy and charge at you and jump at you to disorient your movement, and you just have to manage to wedge in your attacks in between. This fight is honestly the best in both games. It gets the easy S tier, like S tier, best game. Metal Sonic, best boy, kind of overrated. He's not in that many games. Hot take aside, moving on. Oil Desert Zone, a giant born of scrap metal. This boss fight is honestly pretty, again, it has the same problem as the first boss. Like, it's fun, but it just takes a while, you know what I mean? You run outside of the oil ring for a bit, then you go inside. Ooh, and then Eggman is a giant robot, and then he's trying to crush you with scrap metal. Now, see, the issue with this boss fight is the fact of depth perception. It was kind of easier in the first boss because the plant stuck out so much that when Eggman opened up its head, it was easy for you to bonk. In this boss fight, however, sometimes you can just be this close to hitting Eggman, and then the homing attack reticle could even be there, but then sometimes you just don't hit him. Like, is it me? Am I not high enough? I really don't understand why they designed the boss to look this way in perspective. Like, you hit him when his cockpit's open, obviously, so why can't I ever hit him the way I want to? And then you know, like, just like the first boss, it takes so long and wastes so much time. You know, by the time you're done, it's just like, okay, well, that was over. That was easy. And you know me personally, that gets a D tier for me. Moving on. Sky Fortress Zone, Showdown in the Sky. I hate this boss fight. Join it in the trash. Yeah, funny story. I didn't finish this boss fight either, and I really, really didn't want to. This boss fight is so dumb. It's essentially Sky Chase Zone, but with a boss fight. My only issue with this boss fight is the fact that in order to damage Metal Sonic's ship, you have to hit Metal Sonic and only Metal Sonic. Like, why? And then they also give you the ability to homing attack him. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, what incentive idea was it? You can do like a tornado spin with Tails. You know, I think that's pretty cool. But this boss fight still sucks. It's just a lot of waiting and trying to hit his cockpit, which is very tiny, by the way. If you miss him, you have to do the boss's attack pattern all over again. Dodging lasers, but they're coming right at you. Dodging lasers, but they're going up and down. Missiles, Metal Sonic barrel rolling at you. I can't, and I won't, and I didn't, and I finished it. And I hate it, Moving on. Death Egg Mark II Zone. This boss gets an easy B rank, mainly because of the fact that I love the aesthetic, I love the music, obviously, and the boss fight itself isn't actually really bad. It's versus Metal Sonic and Eggman, and by B, I meant C, because actually, no, it's mainly just a fight against Metal Sonic. Eggman is just there to be in the way, which, by the way, I found out the strategy. If you hug the right corner, like if you're able to speed past Eggman and Metal Sonic in the right corner, they literally can't attack you. And then you can just spam like the team partner up with Tails. So like he'll hit Metal Sonic, but then like he'll get damaged in time. So like he'll never actually, you know, combine with you. And I think that's really funny. So you can just kind of exploit that until the boss decides to move on to phase 2. So speaking of phase 2, hey, what about the Metal Sonic race? What about the Metal Sonic race? You can just 69 with Tails and you beat it in like 20 seconds. And then you can wait for him to open up the final door hatch and then, you know, it's easy. Shut up. Anyway. Oh my God, I really lost my mind for like 12 minutes. Please. I'm so sorry, everyone. Please like and subscribe. I did this to myself for you. I love you all, by the way. The egg heart is so... I mean... It gets a B, honestly. I think the boss fight is fun, but I think it can also really get too disorienting for a player. What I mean by that is like the boss has you jump on different planes to interact with the egg heart in the center. You have to jump on these rings and get to the center. The problem is after the first hit, where the game just decides, hey, you know what? What if we just decided to cut everything on? Let's electrocute Sonic everywhere, shoot some projectiles everywhere too, and make it so even if Sonic is about to jump on a specific platform, it might electrocute him too, making him lose his rings. And you know, the more times you get hit, the further your rings go, so you'll never really be able to collect them again. Hopefully you didn't collect them all in one go the first go around, like an idiot. That would be stupid. But regardless, this boss fight is honestly really fun to a degree because it just gets really dumb at the end. And honestly, I think they just wanted you to spam Tails' flight because that's what I did. Because I wasn't gonna deal with it for the entire thing. I thought it was dumb, and I know they thought it was dumb. So, and then that's it. That's the end of Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2. Now, what did we learn here from Sonic 4? Did we learn anything new about Sonic 4? Did we learn that maybe back in the day when everybody was celebrating the fact that Sonic was the only character in Episode 1 and Tails was the only assistant character in Episode 2, that going back to Sonic's routes and enjoying the fact that Sonic was 2D again with Episode 1 and 2 and colors being a thing, did we really enjoy 2D Sonic as much as we say we did? Well, of course, 2D Sonic is amazing. But everyone who glazed Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 when it came out owes me money and a fight. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you all for watching and making it this far. Somehow, if you did, please comment and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye-bye.